peachy.
He'll fuck it up a few times before we get going anyway.
A couple false starts. What is this, the New England
Yeah.
Patriots?
Hey, one day we did the show 10 times.
Football team.
By the time
Jesus Christ.
By the time he figured out how to get us live, we already did like 10-minute takes. I was like, I'm ready to go get
the
lit.
last 20. I said all the most horrific shit I could while it was already recording.
Yeah. So, well, today's election day, November 3rd, and Jordan Sylvia is here, who has very much opinions on the election, local and national.
Oh, that's how we're framing this.
We're gonna hijack it into Jordan's analysis of the election.
Boy. I hope I have some.
Black Lives Matter lighting up the highways on 195.
Yeah, Jeff's just saying every unverifiable rumor.
No, there is the Dartmouth Police and State Police are looking for anyone that saw someone pull over. Several locations between the Dartmouth Mall and like Reed Road or.
Yeah, I saw. Honestly, I was in the area and I was coming back from Westport and I saw all the traffic was locked up coming from Fall River.
Crazy.
And I saw a bunch of fire trucks like in different areas, so it did seem like somebody did something.
Yeah, so that was on the westbound lane.
Yeah.
Then this morning in Providence, a tractor trailer flipped over.
Oh, nice. What's this? The news, the daily news portion of this?
This is just to set the setting that an apocalypse is happening tonight. Donald Trump built a huge wall around the White House.
Wow.
Kids are dying everywhere of COVID. 853,000 children have tested positive.
That's all?
For COVID.
Yeah, well, all those kids are asymptomatic anyway, so.
No, St.
What,
Louis.
they got the sniffles?
A 13-year-old passed away.
Really? I don't believe that. That's another one of your rumors about fires being set on the highway.
No, it's actually true. He did, he looked like he was about my size for a 13-year-old.
Well,
so,
I do not endorse making fun of obese children. But yeah, honestly though, right? Isn't that who they say struggle with coronavirus, like any
pre-existing conditions?
Correct.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So Mikey's headed on in too.
I just want to say too, real quick.
He'll be early today, about 5:10, 4:10.
How bald I look. People have been telling me I've been going bald for years, but like in this lighting, I'm really.
Have you considered getting the hair care for
hair
club thing for men?
Hair plugs? No, but on my last cruise, they sold like this hat that was like infrared beams on your skull, and it's supposed to like activate your hair follicles.
Yeah, what, in Jamaica?
Yeah, I just think.
I think I smoked some of that on the way over here today.
Yeah, Jeff's a little under the weather or whatever.
Well, it was on I was leaving the house, and it was on the refrigerator outside in the garage where I'm allowed to roam at night. I can't really hurt anything but dent up the cars. And I saw it, and it just like looked out at me, and it said, "Hey, last time you and Jordan did a podcast together, you fucking ruined it because you ate edibles."
I was going to ask if we could bring drinks, too, because I remember there was a drink episode at BCC, and I think you had like one Coca-Cola that was spiked, and they shut down the entire radio.
The entire operation was shut down.
For the local community college students, so that I'm sure they appreciated that.
I mean, that's not. You know what? And then they gave me a suspension, and then I went back in. They had cops there, like real cops with actual guns. They made me sign a no trespass order. For what? What did I do? I brought a little bit of alcohol onto a college campus.
I guess they take alcohol on a college campus, which is kind of funny because where do you find a lot of alcohol but for college campuses?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Not a community college where they don't really have any like residential housing or something. I'm sure UMass is stacked. I remember that one little kid that went up and bomb the Boston Marathon. I was actually when I was at UMass when he did that. But,
oh, really?
Yeah, they're all smoking weed. I think they said he was selling weed on campus.
Yeah, it made it
probably
look
wasn't
like
the worst thing he did that year.
It was nothing that he was involved in. His brother probably talked him into it.
Yeah.
So save his life.
Correct. Oh, no, Zokar.
Yeah.
I don't like the death penalty. If we can kind of sashay into politics. I don't really like the death penalty because the government is incompetent at everything. So to think that they're going to
fuck it up.
Yeah, they're gonna kill innocent people and not charge the worst war criminals, like George Bush, fake wars in Iraq. Those people don't even get charged, but this one Arab kid who did some heinous shit. I don't think anybody who killed somebody should really be given a second chance. On my way dropping my kids off at school this morning, I was listening to GBH, and they were saying how I think it's like the 13th Amendment, unfair punishment came in cruel and unusual, all about sentencing juveniles. This wasn't something. This is like spontaneously.
Yeah.
Just something I heard this one. To death without parole. I'm sorry, for life without parole. I think if you kill someone, I think you can't obviously take that back. So I don't know about rehabilitating somebody who's already killed somebody. Whether
Obviously,
you're a
the
child or not.
circumstances, like, you know, if the kid jumped in a car and didn't know how to really use it,
Yeah,
and
I'm
ran someone
talking
over.
first degree
Yeah,
murder,
like
aggravated
carve the
murder.
eyeballs out.
Yeah.
Yeah, cut the
'Cause obviously,
genitalia.
people make mistakes or whatever, and it's more like a manslaughter type thing.
Clearly, my nephew got the benefit of the doubt 3 times.
Yeah.
And look where he is
there are
again.
some dangerous people.
Thank God he never elevated to like seriously hurting someone. But it's almost like in Massachusetts, especially.
Well,
that's
he had a
takes.
couple good attorneys, though, right? Will Flanagan. Who was defending all these criminal people? Hey, listen, I used to work at a law office, and we defended people being charged with, violent crimes too.
You have to.
Yeah, it is. Again, the way I used to think when I was a naive young kid, like, oh, if I ever became an attorney, I would not. I'd have to be like a prosecutor, and But then you realize, and you see how the criminal justice system works. A lot of innocent people. I've been through the criminal justice system myself, and it's a scary thing.
Me too.
Yeah, it's a scary thing, and obviously you're seeing the former mayor right now. He's facing like hundreds of years. His biggest thing was, you pissed off Andrew Lelling, the prosecutor, the federal DOJ. So that's not a wise thing to do. Like tug on Superman's cape, you know what I mean? So
it's like telling the judge to go fuck himself.
correct.
Sentence.
Yeah, you don't usually, and a lot of people still think he's going to make out pretty well in that case. But
No, yeah, but someone was saying yesterday that there was something else that was sniffling around with him. A third.
a third case coming down the pipe. Yeah, that would
someone
totally
told me
surprise me.
But
That would totally surprise me.
yeah, I don't know. I wish him the best of luck.
Let me pivot from that real quick, because just real quickly, it's funny because obviously today's the election, and I spoke with a few people today, and everyone was voting for Joe Biden. And again, we obviously live in Massachusetts, right?
Is that what they told you?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
They literally, like, I know their political persuasions, and they definitely were voting for Biden. Yeah. But one of them, it's actually a mutual friend. I'll tell you, like, off air who
Clinton.
it was. No.
I think you just missed Clinton.
Oh, did I? I'm sorry. Biden. But this person said that they actually even agreed with a lot of things that Trump did.
Yes.
But because Trump is such an aggressive, he said asshole or whatever.
Grab him by the pussy.
Imagine that. So again, if you don't like the guy, clearly you're gonna vote against him. But imagine if you can even respect the things he does, but the way he comes across. And that I used to again, I've questioned myself when I ran for office. I'd get trounced. I'd get trounced by people who wouldn't fare too well on an IQ test.
Yeah.
Like Ron Cabral outvote. And again, I'm not trying to make fun of people. But
No,
that's what happened. It's the history.
Apparently you don't keep up with the show, and then that's this weekly tradition of roasting and making fun of people.
But but point being, I've looked at it because I've crashed and burned. I've done terrible, and I thought I've always been the best candidate to run when I did run. I thought I actually had the best ideas. I think the government on the federal, state, local level is the reason why we have a lot of problems we have. But again, I'm a terrible messenger. But a lot of people won't agree with my political stances, and then I come across as a jerk because I kind of don't, lie to people. Where the flip side of that is you can have a Jay-Z Correa or Barack Obama, and there Barack Obama is droning children, Jay-Z's stealing from people. And people vote for them because they can be hardcore criminals, but when they talk, you walk away like, oh, what a nice guy. Like all the old ladies in Florida used to want to squeeze Jay-Z's cheeks. Mikey, you could come in, buddy. You don't have to.
Mikey's in the house.
What's up, buddy?
A little late. But it's funny because I watched that thing about Trump, and Trump was the best salesman. The world could be burning down behind him, like it is. It is actually right here in this podcast. And he could convince you otherwise. That's a celebration. We're doing good. We got a call. A 4 of a row. You're live.
Right away.
Yeah, right away.
Right into the deep stuff.
Nice to see you.
Oh, what's this? Someone's on the phone? What's happening?
Yeah, we just took a phone call. We're high tech now.
Who are we speaking to?
The future is now.
You just said.
Patrick Higgins joined.
Oh, what's up, bro? Patrick. I like my local curmudgeons who file injunctions against the libraries.
For
the fun of it. For the pure passion.
Cat trespass, no trespass orders against cat. Dude, I love that. The Colin Diocese, again, I give people like that credit who just like the thorn in the side of the establishment.
I seen Colin out back in the alleyway.
A guilty finding against the Fall River Water Board for their open meeting law complaint.
See what I mean? No, hey, Patrick? My question is, right, like I should probably forward this to CJ Ferry. What happens with those open? Because I know they file all those complaints all the time. I just feel like it's kind of a waste of time because
I have a 97% conviction rate. I've had 4 municipalities.
So does Jeff.
Fined $1,000.
So
the rest of them are always ordered immediate and future compliance.
So they get fined? Because hey, I'll tell you right now, that's always been my problem, right? It's like this very small thing that people kind of overlook. Every law for the peasants, right, and they wanna stop you from engaging in a behavior. There's criminal penalties and fines attached, but any law or rule for the government, there's no enforcement mechanism attached. They're like, oh, governor can't do this, can't do that.
So,
but there's no punishment.
Jordan, are you going to take the opportunity today, election day, Fall River Watch, to announce you'll be a candidate for mayor next year?
I don't think it would be it would matter much, but I mean, I have thought about it, and I
just so you know, we already announced it.
Yeah, I thought this was official. I'm so confused right now. I'm like, can we get
my former campaign manager, who was at Jay Zeal's Battleship soiree when I was like debating his empty chair? Jeff Leary, take what he says totally to the bank. But yeah, I'm gonna run again.
I feel like that was announced.
I don't think it's gonna matter much. I don't know if I'm swallowing the microphone, just blowing out your ears.
I'll tell you what, I think Charlie Brown could beat Paul Coogan. He's such a slut.
Yeah, but what happened is someone else will be like seen as a legitimate candidate, like a Cliff Pont. My prediction is like a Cliff Pont or a Sean Kadeem.
Cliff Ponte's not going to run anytime soon.
I think you could debate and win.
Oh, I could debate and win against any of them, but I think Sean Kadeem knows the most.
You kind of made Jay Zeal the mayor by eliminating Sutter.
Yeah, I wanted to debate Jay Zeal the last time he ran, but I had a vacation scheduled on one of the things, and I think he was like shaking down alternative healing or one of these weed places.
I was spying on him, by the way, for you on the ship.
That's what that was
going on.
Star, bro.
What's up,
Jordan,
I don't know, guy. How you been?
You got a couple. Jordan, you look good. You've got a couple of.
I feel good.
Have you seen the pictures of this man lately? Have you seen the centerfolds this man has been putting up?
Put him next to me.
Centerfolds.
I've been posting shirtless pics because somebody made a comment about Chris Peckham, and I'm like, I will arm wrestle and shatter his arm right through this. That's all natural too. I won't go there. I don't go there. That's all natural.
Both of these guys could get on stage. I'll come bring meat out. You guys can put your legs together. We'll see who wins any day of the week.
I've been just trying to be healthy, and I've been exercising.
Patrick, thanks for calling, brother.
Thanks, buddy.
No, you cleaned up though. I understand too. Everybody's had COVID. We've been doing the COVID bullshit.
None of us wear masks, by the way. Did you take your test? I took my part
I've
test.
taken so many tests. Oh, before we come. No.
Eric B set that up.
Yeah, we're getting the okay. Everybody in here we're good. But all the guys back there, I don't know if you can see them. They all got face shields and everything.
Yeah, Jeff has so many viruses in his body that the good viruses cancel out the bad viruses.
Yeah, I got quick in the form.
Did you take your shot of bleach?
He drinks bleach anyway, yeah.
There we go. There's the cure. So, CDC.
That was accurate, though. That was promoted as an accurate cure at the beginning. They said alcohol because it brings up your body temperature.
I haven't been sick in 15 years.
Hey, didn't he get all the shows shut down at BCC for a short period of time?
Yeah, I was one of them.
And he comes here, bringing up bad memories.
I'm helping you guys. Relive the past. That was the past.
Yeah, this is a little like reunion of the glory days of BCC radio.
It was.
This is a little bit. We shut shit down for a while.
And we should have Calvin come by.
Hey, you know what's true? They should have that in history books. There should be some type of BCC history book, though, because I'm pretty sure we got them the most listeners they've ever had in like.
Oh, Mikey D. Let's not also gloss over. We have right now a Fall River City Councilor, right? TJ, who had a show there.
Yes.
Monica worked for the most criminal administration in the history of Fall River. That was she was a co-host on my show.
God bless her.
She left my show and ran a criminal syndicate. I'm only kidding, Monica. We love you. You have a beautiful son.
True story,
she is a nice girl. Everyone else was involved. her and Faust somehow unscathed, but I know East Main Street got a lot of love.
Yeah, he just rode off into the sunset, huh? Faust?
I talked to Faust. He still works for the city.
He's the city manager.
Faust is a pretty smart guy.
Yeah, but he's avoiding any.
There's different kinds of intelligence.
There's always, that's just sure.
And he has this like
this guy's working on his
ability to like kind of find a place.
He should run for mayor.
No.
Yeah, he seems like a likable
Faust?
guy.
Yeah.
I think he should. I think I could devour
Tell
him.
a Christmas story.
Yeah, you just
when
want
they put
somebody
up-
to.
When they put up the tree, you could tell a nice Christmas story.
Yeah.
It was the night before Christmas.
Sam Sutter, he's working for Res
Cliffy.
Meany.
Yeah, and the wife is selling
You think he'll
houses.
you think
I
he'll
think
come
he
back?
had your campaign page taken down.
Yeah, that happened recently.
What?
My old campaign page with the video of the debate.
Wait a minute.
I
Hold
still
on.
have copies
Hold on.
of
I don't know
that
why
one.
you're leaning back, telling me like I know this. I know nothing
It
of this. What
just
is happening
happened
here?
like a few days ago.
What's a few days ago? 2 days, 3 days.
Last night.
Wait. So your campaign page, the complete page,
Yeah,
shut down.
The whole thing's gone. So
Hold
that
on.
video's gone. But
Wait,
I have a
the
copy.
demon video, like the demonic, like.
Yes. I went to use it to promote the show today, and I was like,
Fucking vibes,
he
dude.
goes,
Getting
hold
the
on,
chills.
I'll find you. You're probably just drunk, Uncle.
Oh,
but
no.
he never found it. Did we?
Oh, so this show is one of those things where we all just ramble, which I'm in my element here. People at home probably like, wow, this sucks.
no, I mean, yeah,
they
we're
comment
living-
and they're like, these losers, what are you even talking about? We're all talking like inside baseball from 10 years ago, like Fall River politics. Is people from like,
Yeah, but-
Somerset, like, who are these losers?
No. Like that. These are some highly.
No,
those
they're very
videos
important
float
people.
around, and they make the waves every
Saving the
year.
Bay.
Those videos make the waves every year. That one
Yeah,
gets a
they
good.
get their own.
That
It
was a
does.
good chuckle. Listen, the Cliffy note in general. This is a historic moment. I don't care what anybody says out there. There's gonna be like. I'm not even joking. Dude. This is
all right.
historic moments. I've never thought in my life, and I don't think we'd see again until the whole Trump thing happened. Somebody just calls someone on their shit live in front of everybody, like, "Hi,
Wow.
your shirt's
Guess-
your shoes are untied."
If I had $1 billion, you could say I was the Donald Trump of Fall River before Donald Trump.
Oh no, for sure.
Just being
it was
a
a wave.
Just being a shit talking
If you want
asshole.
but if you want to be real, my opinion, you were somebody who was surfing the wave. But I'm saying there was a wave coming. Like even,
Yeah, that's
I
true.
think Flanagan, to be honest with you, got hit with the wave a little
well,
bit.
hey, I'll tell you too, Mike.
The wave was coming. It was brewing.
Hey.
We were already getting some angst, and then here came our local city, and we were like, "What's this bullshit?"
I always said that too. That like a lot of my involvement in that whole thing. With again, if I don't know, if people will even remember now. It's like there was
I know, you know how much time went by so fast?
Yeah,
It's
there's a period
bad.
of time where like everyone knew about it. Now it's like I'll be on Facebook and
think I
someone
died 3
will
times.
say to me, like, "Oh yeah, you think you're so smart? Why don't you run for mayor?" And I'm like,
Who are you?
Yeah,
Well,
like,
hey, who
I'm
are
like,
you?
I didn't see me get smoked multiple times by all these incompetent
Who are you?
scumbags. But yeah.
Who the hell am I?
I personally, that's kind of what motivated me was, I see these, again, Will Flanagan will be like, speaks a certain way, and they try to, this fraudulent, approach to everything. It's just, I didn't, it kind of enrages me.
Yes, it's noticeable.
And they were doing things that were illegal. Like the purple bags were not legal when they were doing it. It was at $3 million, whatever they stole.
Did they
I don't want to
teach that
rehash the whole thing.
In poli-sci, did they teach the personality in that?
A quick question about the
They
bags,
do.
though,
Oh.
in general. Not to go back to bags, but in general, when speaking about bags, even to this day, do you ever find yourself talking to someone from another community or town about their bags, and then though you having to like get into the whole, back in my day in Fall River, right? It kind of came up. It was a tax without a tax. I don't know if you understand how that works. Now you get into like a civil conversation with someone who wasn't even, but they weren't. What my point is, they're not paying attention to it in their town. Like
Hey.
they don't even know what I'm talking about.
I can bring it to like current events right now. That whole so Charlie Baker starts the curfew yesterday, right?
Yes.
Which is like insane. Like again, if I see Charlie Baker,
out
I'm
soon.
gonna chop him down if I see him in person.
the legs.
But
Sweep the leg.
so this group gets created, right? About like it's like Massachusetts citizens against Charlie Baker.
I've just
or whatever.
seen that.
Yeah, and
It's already
they're
been infiltrated, though.
They're talking about recalling the governor, which I don't really think you can. I mean, there's some argument that you can. There's some article that like there's language
Missing
about
calls.
you
I
can
don't know
remove.
if you
I'm sorry, I don't
did
know.
not take them.
Yeah, no, you can take them. I want to talk to people. It's probably people I haven't talked to. In a
No,
while.
I missed them already though. So
That's all right. It's- yeah.
They call back. Sorry,
If you have Jeff's phone number, that's probably
right there.
want to delete that one. Yeah, if you want to call in 508-916-0308. You put your real cell phone number out there to the world?
No, it's not mine.
I got
Google Voice.
two
Anyway, Mikey,
phones. Yep. Flowing with it.
So yeah, that came up where people want to recall the governor, and I'm like, hey, I just kind of jumped in there. I'm like, hey, yeah, we recalled
We
the
have
mayor.
Let me show you
Yeah,
how
we
it
were the
works.
first ones to recall a sitting mayor in
We
the
were about
history
that
of
life.
Massachusetts. They
Yeah.
tried to do Jay-Z, but he kind of won because it didn't work out the same way. He ultimately obviously was removed.
So-
thank God.
No, that brings up the whole ranked choice voting thing, which is one of the other things on the ballot. I know we're kind of, I'll segue off a bit. We got a phone call. Do we take the phone call
Oh
quick?
my God!
Let's take this phone call.
Quick.
blast from the
Fall River Raw, you're live.
What's going on?
What's happening?
Does this man call in occasionally?
Once in a while. We actually got 2 calls. The other caller's gonna have to call back.
Richie, what's up, brother?
Not much. Just glad
Richie Race
to
car.
hear that you're out there and you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Hey, I saw a Green Rainbow party on a ticket today.
Yeah, I think he was a green
well-
candidate for governor, I think, at one point, Richard.
Governor. No,
I've done
no,
debates with Richard Branco, Turner, where they were like, they had a strict no, what was it?
I remember Rich was on the end. That's all I remember about the debate.
Yeah,
he was like the first
ripped out
person.
the orange
He had a
trash
bag, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he ripped out. He was like, purple trash bags. We can have orange
He had
trash
shorts
bags. I
on.
was
Yeah, he was
I was
down
like,
for
why
any
did
color.
I
We
think
can
of that?
expand.
He was the source of the fly that attacked Ricky Tiff.
Yeah, Ricky
No,
Tiff
he
got
brought it
the
on
same
with his
CIA
sandals.
treatment that Mike Pence received with a
The
fly-shaped
VIP
drone
treatment.
landed on his forehead. That
Was it? That's another infiltration.
That was wild.
That was some fun times that
You
we
know,
had
it
during that
was.
forum.
It was. We caused a lot of trouble, huh, Rich? Did you got no trespass out of the city hall like multiple times? No, you're a bad dude.
hey, I'm
I give
still-
you mad
Are
respect
you
for
still?
that.
Yeah, are you still?
No, hey, I'm still recovering from all the heat that I had to take.
Oh yeah, they do. Hey, Richard, you would literally. Hey, and again, I'm saying Mikey D got arrested out of the place. See, we were. That's one thing too. I'll say about what we did, Mike. And people may not like remember that because a lot of if you're 20 years old now, you were in like high school at the time. But we actually went we were the first ones that I seen actually fight these people. I know Chip and CJ. I give them mad respect too because I didn't even know about the recall until they were trying to do it.
Yeah, they set some foundation. But they just didn't have that whatever called.
What happened was they had
came.
all these like ragamuffins,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
us getting violent.
I called it youth, but you're
You know
right,
what I mean? We're all
ragamuffin.
jerks. Like Jeff sending Zen in with a pizza during a city council meeting, breaking up the whole thing.
It was Lulu. It was Lulu.
Mikey's yelling at people. I'm yelling at people at the meetings. We basically caused
Hey, that came up in my memories, honestly, like 4 days ago. That
Hey,
was live. That happened.
What
The anniversary of that. No, not the pizza one.
Oh, the arrest?
It was me chiming in about the day after. I was like, what?
Didn't Missy almost get?
I don't even really
a
bring-
fist fight with somebody at one of the.
No,
Almost.
She's had a couple
kids. I had a
interactions,
couple
man.
kids that worked at DPW try to like get me around the corner, and like it was this weird thing. We were outside, and like one of the kids you could tell was like a dirt bag.
No chance.
Yeah, and the other kid.
Hey,
no,
I almost got into a fist fight with Joe
2-on-1
Kamala.
is tough. 2-on-1 is difficult.
I've seen those in my day. That's how you know you're from far.
Yeah, but
I had to deal
again,
with that.
I'm just bringing it up because the point was we all went like pretty hard after the politicians,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we're missing that now. And like again, Cliff Pond, I've kind of taken this tact, Mike.
That's what I meant by the wave, though.
Where-
There was a wave. You can't
Yeah.
fake a wave. You know what I mean? And you were riding in the front, but we had that.
Oh no, it was, and that's the thing too. It was only because there was a bunch of us, and it was
yeah.
people. It was cool to see people our
They changed
age.
the rules because of us.
I think they broke every rule because of us. But
No, they changed the rules. It ain't 50 signatures no more.
yes, they
What
did
is it?
make it harder. 300 or something.
150.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
300 from
3
there.
times.
But you have people out here dodging rain buckets, you know?
Yeah, but
Now
it was
they're
just
not gonna
good
be
to
able to
see.
run.
It was my kid will be able to look back at that stuff. I remember one of the first meetings I went to. I left my son's shoe on like one of the meetings, and like Dan Battello like came and gave. That's the other thing too. We had some massive enemies. Like I thought Gino
Remember
was
Earl
going to try to.
Gaudette trying to fire us up?
Yeah, it was a lot of different cliques. That stuff will probably stay the same going forward.
Look at Gino now.
But
Yeah.
hey, at
Yeah.
least it's on video and it can't be changed.
Yeah, no.
the same
It doesn't
thing
even
with
matter, Rick. Like Rich, like I remember it, and I appreciate what everybody did.
But I
Everybody
know
did
where
their
you were
part.
going with this too before, so we don't lose track. Where you were going with this was the fact that like now to bring this on a state level, if with everything all this angst going on against Baker and we got all this COVID lockdown nonsense,
Correct.
is the state going to have enough cojones to
Correct.
actually be like, hey, f that guy, let's get
Yeah.
him out? Because it's one thing to talk, it's another thing to go up there and shake your fist,
Yeah.
and shake your fist while the rest of the civil society shakes you down as a crazy person.
Yeah.
So they're just gonna, you know what I mean? You have to deal with all that nonsense. So are the people gonna have enough? I don't know, man. I think as it gets a little, because I think this is gonna drag out.
No, the comparison.
Give it another month.
Mikey. The comparison is like people say, oh, the American Revolution started over like a 3% T tax, and now they'll take half your income, and people don't care. So same thing. Like we were revolting in Fall River over a $1.50 trash bag. Now they're saying you can't have a business. You can't go to work.
But-
They'll destroy your livelihood, and people are taking it. And I know people in the city. That's another point I want to raise. the city council and the mayor in Fall River, why do we pay these people? Why do they, like, the governor runs the city, and I've said that for a while. The bull moose guy that TJ had on his show,
From Rhode Island,
yeah, I'm like, the governors have this unrestrained
Healy.
power. Hey, they have this unrestrained power. They just call it general welfare. They can pretty much do whatever they want. But yeah, I don't know if people
that
have
due
the
to
gumption to
handouts we're
stand
getting?
up to this.
Is
shit.
that due to the handouts we're getting? Is
Probably.
one and the same?
No, it was
Like, in other words,
docile. The
Yeah.
stakes are higher too.
it's the fluoride.
The stakes
no?
are higher too. I'll tell you this too. I'll say this too. I'll be really real,
Yeah.
dude. Like at the time, I had less to lose, right? I didn't have any property.
Yeah, no, that's what happens as you get older too. Though
no,
you're like,
yeah. So now I have more to lose. So it's like you got more skin in the game. So all these people who have bars, they don't want to stay open. You know, you see like the one gym owner in like Boxford or wherever the guys.
Oh,
doing.
yeah.
And they're going to the mat and fighting these people. And I have
that's
so
crazy.
much respect for those people because they have a lot to lose. And
I'm with
we
you
need
on
more people
when
like that.
yes, I'm with you. Let's stir that up. But I think that's what I was getting at. And give it another. So to your point about how they put up with a certain amount, all it took was tea. Now look where we're at now. On the opposite, like I don't want to get all grandpa-ish on it. When you say like back in my day, and meaning we all want to do that. My point being is at some new level there will be a threshold. It's a different threshold than we thought. They're going to hit a threshold, and then when these people snap, I don't know what it'll turn into. But I'm saying give it another month, man, because if this drags out as it's going, we're going to have election issues possibly going on, plus COVID issues.
I think we got a call on there. I'm sorry. Bro.
No, take it.
Yeah. Fall River Roy, you're
Someone
live.
yell at us.
Take that.
Hey, how's it going?
What's happening?
Hey,
Yep.
here's a real question. You think that low-life Coogan's going to have the Fall River cops
Jeez.
Friday scouting around for people who aren't wearing their masks?
Is this my boy Barry?
Yeah, it is.
See, that's what I miss about the local shows. I knew all the people that would call. And I used to play basketball with Barry for like 20 years. He had this unstoppable reverse layup
You
off
can't
the
not know
backboard.
Barry's
One
voice,
hand,
though.
off hand, don't matter. He'll make you look silly. Your girlfriend's there. You don't care. But will he have cops at what? What's going on, Barry? What's Paul Coogan gonna have cops at?
I'm telling you. If
The
they
basketball
start
hoop's coming
cops,
down.
They start driving around and looking.
Oh, for the
people who aren't
curfew.
wearing masks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's a
yeah.
good
I want
point.
to test it. No, Jordan, I want to test the mask thing because I occasionally work out in the park, and there's nobody within a fucking mile of me. I want to see a cop come up to me
I love the
and
fire.
slap me
See,
with
that's what you
goddamn
need.
I know,
fucking
you're
fire.
invigorated.
We need more people fired up, Barry.
Hey,
Let me say this. As a
nighttime-
former FRPD, right? I know that there's a lot of Trump guys on there, which again, I'm not a Trump guy, but they come from a conservative bent. I can't imagine a lot of these guys want to go out and like harass me. That was my question though. Like, again, they come out with a law, but really they're not. Then they're like, oh, if anyone questions it, they're like, oh, they're guidelines, right? Like if somebody dies because they're low, like, oh no, we never required that. It's in the fine print. But yeah, like I wanted to know that. Like they come out with these general things, right? Like, oh, you have to wear a mask outside, even if no one's around for 10 miles. And who's enforcing that? What's the penalty? Like they kind of leave that, to the wayside. But yeah, I wanted to know. That's why I posted today. I want to hear from Chief Cardoza. I want to hear from Paul Coogan, right? I think Paul, again, I'm going to take a partisan cheap shot at him. I think he's been pretty ineffective. He's going to the nursing homes and dropping. Like, I don't know what this guy's doing. I know we're in a tough spot money-wise because of all this. Here's another thing, too. The government is destroying businesses, right? Putting people out of business. And then they're still demanding more money from people. So I work at a bank and they're telling banks and insurance companies, you got to work with people, give them extensions and all this stuff. But when it comes to your taxes, they're actually raising taxes. The last meeting I saw when they were passing the budget, the city council and the mayor, and again, you have people running for city council saying they're like conservative or whatever. I haven't seen them do anything. Go ahead.
Here's the thing. He comes out yesterday and he pushes all this bullshit. The state positivity rate for COVID is like under 2%. Out of 50,000 tests. And you're coming out and you're pushing all these laws.
Dude, well, how come? Did you get the text? How come I got a text on my phone that I thought was an Amber Alert and it was something to tell me there's a fucking problem in Fall River? That's not a fucking problem. Like, how many times do I got to tell somebody
was the text about?
0.1% is not a problem? Like, I don't know how to explain that to people.
Yeah, even
it's
if
insanity.
everyone-
That doesn't even constitute as ingredients on some fucking some boxes when they got to tell you what's in it. No, like you could put arsenic in there if it's on
The
the
COVID thing is scary.
are we doing?
What they've been able to get people to do. Whatever mask I don't think make any sense, but it's more of an inconvenience. Like if I'm just inconvenienced and I have to put a mask on my face and wear something I know is absurd and not based in science, that's fine. But to shut down people's livelihoods, that's where again Here's my problem with government in general, right? Charlie Baker doesn't live in Fall River. He never comes here. You know what I mean? He knows nothing about people from Fall River. He's a rich guy. Fall River's a poor place. Now, this guy can come down here and tell everyone that we have to live a certain way. Right, like so, we have to shut down all our businesses. Where is the city council who are supposed to actually represent
leadership.
people?
Where's local leadership?
No,
You've made the point that local leadership doesn't lead. They actually just kowtow to whatever the top above leadership
Mike,
tells them, and it's like a work structure. The boss told me, I did what the boss told me.
Exactly, and it's a
I got the memo.
And that's what I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
When I do run again next year, that's the main crux that I bring is like I don't really care what Charlie Baker thinks in his life. Like I don't care anything about this guy. City of Florida, like they come out with even the state laws. They're all enforced by Fall River police. So no matter who you have as the chief of police, that is going to control what is a crime in Florida. They're not going to be sending state troops in. Sometimes they will, you know what I mean, if they're bored or whatever. They really shouldn't be here.
Well, you have mayors
They should be on the highways.
making sanctuary cities. So.
Correct.
But that's what I'm saying. That's a whole different issue.
Now people can vote for hardcore criminal justice fanatics if they want, or they could vote for somebody like me who thinks drugs should be legalized, prostitution should be legalized. There's no such thing as a victimless crime. Yeah, it's like a Jeff Leary paradise in a Jordan Sylvia Fall River. But seriously, I don't understand why. The city council now, Mike. It's one thing if they're just absent or hiding, right? It's one thing to hide. They can agree with the guy. Now they can come out and say, "Yeah, I agree that it's a hard time."
I'm gonna follow you. No, they come on. They put on the T-shirt.
Yeah,
they put on the hat.
If they at least took a position, that's always been. And again, I mentioned TJ again. Like he's a friend of mine. I've known him since like Laurel Lake. But my criticism on TJ was he never was one to really go out on a limb and like take a position. I feel like he tries to ride the fence, and I'm not trying to like beat up.
Just
on the
to throw out for that reason, just to be fair, if anyone's out there watching, if TJ wants to call in, feel free. No, but I'm just saying, since you're throwing it out there, and
Paul Coogan wants to come
true.
down here and deliver masks and vaccines.
No, but I meant if anyone wants to chime in on this, to your point, and I'm backpacking on it with the fact of they put on a T-shirt that says what the state said, but it's very few that'll just have their own actual opinion. They do this. You got to play the safe game no matter what because you're playing the votes. I get it. You can. I can understand something without respecting.
I disagree. That's fraudulent.
That's what I say. Without respecting it, we understand,
exactly,
but it doesn't mean I respect it.
So again, they should all come out and at least either agree or disagree and say either way.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then we can kind of because that now as a voter, now you could say, oh my God, this guy agrees with these lockdowns. If you own a bar in the city, right, and you're going to lose your house and your livelihood,
you can make a choice.
You can now get everyone to vote against these people and TP their house on Halloween if it hadn't already passed. But the whole just not saying anything, like you elect these people. I can't imagine you live in.
Jordan, what are you talking about? Toilet paper this Halloween? That was a gift.
I could have been wrapped up into it because I have a couple apartments in the city and the evictions and whatnot, the moratorium that could have affected me.
Are you getting a liquor license for any of your properties?
No, I could never. I could never have a business in Fall River because they'll try to kill me. Is that Barry on there still?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Barry. We're just talking all over you, buddy.
I mean, first off, if none of these city councils have said anything up to this point about this, about these rules, about these stupid things, then they're basically going to fall in line with Coogan and Baker.
Correct.
That's why it's a waste of time. Go
ahead.
Go ahead.
One other thing real quick, right? So again, on a local level, if I was the mayor of Fall River, Barry, and again, Charlie Baker invents some stupid rule about curfews or you got to do this, you got to jump through this hoop, whatever, you got to just shut down the movie theater, whatever. And they're all being enforced by the local boards of health. I just go to the board of health and I say, listen, we're not, and just like you said, we're not enforcing that rule. How about that? If you think we are, you're fired. I'll replace you with someone who is not. And that's how you do it on a local level. That's what I will absolutely do. I'm not.
I was going to go full nerd.
The chances of me getting elected in Fall River is
not even that
minuscule. But that's how I would play it. That's how whoever does win needs to play it, or they can just do whatever Charlie.
No, but you brought up a point that's the problem. And Barry, if you want to chime in on this part, if you know more knowledge about this, if I remember right though, not to be a nerd and go back to the whole bag thing, but during that time, one of the biggest points of contention that we couldn't get around was Board of Health. It was the whole word shall.
Correct.
This is when I learned the power of
That's
the word
funny.
shall. It's so stupid and weird, but if there was a coloring book about the recall, shall would stick out, and it would be that Board of Health like time frame, because it was like everyone locally said we can't do anything. They don't appoint them. They don't do anything. So the only reason I'd also like to bring that up, counterpoint, is people should focus on those weird entities too. Like, who are these bodies that just get to come in and rule over us?
Did you ever think in your life?
Who are you?
Did you ever think in your life you would attend like a local Board of Health?
No,
meeting?
it was
and
very
it was
weird.
a packed
Very
house,
weird.
and people were there, and Josh was there, and people
Ticket sales were almost gone.
Yeah, people were going up, and people were getting up and slamming the table, and like it was like
Bunch of
standing
turkeys.
O's. It was so crazy. Like,
Speaking
I
of
would never
Thanksgiving
thought
coming
my
up, a
life-
bunch of turkeys, right? We're making that.
But you're right, Mike.
I saved a bunch of turkeys
People need to get
today.
involved. Jeff is just sitting in the corner letting me and Mikey
This is
ramble.
this is his deal. To be honest with
about the
everybody out there,
glory
this is
days of
pretty
the
much
recall.
what Jeff is like. He was wishing for moments like this
I
when he
just
can
like to
come
hang
here,
out.
yeah, and just chill in the background.
My retirement days.
Get a picnic
You're just eating a
picnic
chocolate
basket.
bar from Halloween.
It's legit too. Just a Hershey's chocolate bar.
Well,
It's
the
so
alternative,
you
yeah.
basic biche.
Yes.
Oh my.
I got banned
Hershey
for
chocolate.
saying bish the other day. I got
That's
banned.
true, it came
but
up.
It didn't happen. Like it says it did, but I can still post. So.
Mikey, did you vote today?
I have not yet, to be honest with you.
No.
I'm
Do you
just
plan
the
on
fence.
it? If I wasn't gonna vote.
Thank you for that segue. So here's a segue. Jesus, segue. Jordan, that's a good
All right,
point.
Barry,
I'm not
thanks for the call.
100% sure, and here's where I'm going to go
Love
with this.
you,
For
Barry.
all you people out there
Love
who,
you, buddy.
it's probably going to get me like a lot of negative attention. But this is what I wanted to bring up this conversation with you as a segue, because I feel like it's something, it'd be a very interesting point that I've noticed from you. So out of every politician, period, out of every potential person, right? I've seen you just eviscerate at any point you can, just almost because it's just fun doing it, right?
Yeah, part of it
Now,
is-
I'm not saying you haven't or you wouldn't want to, but I feel like I've noticed the trend, and I want to see what your point is, that you haven't been able to do that as much during this current administration. Why?
Yeah.
Not that you can't. Look, don't overspeak.
No, it's a spot on observation. That's what I was actually getting
I have
to.
not seen as much
I
lethality
was getting
toward
into
this
that
guy.
when I mentioned about Cliff Ponte. Right?
I have my own feelings, but I want to hear yours and see if there's
Yeah.
any.
I take an attack
Coags.
that I can't go to nuclear war against every politician who runs the city, because it's just like they have unlimited power and unlimited scummy avenues that they try to attack you.
Still got to see him
So
too.
yeah, you got to deal with these people too, and you got to work with them. Like literally, if
Oh, wait. My fault. I'm not talking about locally. I'm talking about nationally. I'm talking about the Trumpster.
Oh.
I have not seen your rippage.
You're right. No, that's a
And I
fair
just wanted to
point.
see you
That's a fair
comment on
point,
that,
too.
because again, I have my own feelings, but I
know.
noticed it.
Know
It's
what
very
is?
clear.
I'll tell you right now, because a lot of people accuse libertarians as being like a low key Republican, right? So
This is
yeah, that's a spot on.
take it
observation.
away.
So no, I think that I really despise and fear a lot of the economic policies you hear coming from Democrats and liberals. So I'm quick to destroy them. I almost have to point out the Republican things periodically just to make it so it'll never be balanced, because there's a lot of things I kind of think they at least mean well, but they really, whether they do or not, and it's genuine or not. So basically, like Donald Trump, right? People say, oh yeah, no, we got to vote for Donald Trump because he's like a conservative. Like he spent more money than like Bernie Sanders, right? Like they spent like
Yeah, you
$9
got the deficit
trillion. So he's more socialist than Bernie Sanders. That's what he's done in this past year. So I would never support that. I think that they're coming close to like breaking the dollar, the U.S. dollar.
But what's holding back the going for a jugular? What I'm saying is, and because I wanted to give you the opportunity to put your point in without me interfering.
No, it's a great
But where I'm going with this is because I get into this argument all the time with people, and it pisses me off because I know how you were in the past, and I have a feeling we were similar where,
Yeah.
dude, I've gone on and on against Bush.
Yeah.
I went on against Clinton before. I went on against Obama. Then came Trump, and I'm just confused because I feel like I'm backed into a Trump corner more often than not.
Wow.
I have no bumper stickers, right? I have this t-shirt I've said before, someone gave me as a gift and I just thought it was funny, but I've never bought, he's gotten no dollar of mine. I've held no signs.
So you're still undecided, you're saying?
It's not even that I'm undecided. It's that I'm just like, it's for entertainment purposes only, folks. I really don't know how to say this.
I'll tell you this. I laugh when I watch
But I'm
Trump
not voting
rallies.
for Biden. Like, put it this way: there's no way I would give a vote for Biden. If I vote, I'd vote for Trump. But what I'm saying, so there's no way Biden. That's literally the machine.
What don't you? Oh, okay.
Oh, that's the machine. That's who Biden. That's the machine. It's everything that's been in place. It's everything we were
Give him
trying
a
to get
shout out.
Mike
established.
Picard, you slob. Call it, you slob.
What I say all the time, though, and I want to see your point on this. When was the last time we've heard anything about dropping a bomb somewhere? When was the last wedding party we blew up?
I give him credit for that. So again,
Foreign affairs.
Correct.
So here's my
Trump
point.
was good
I
on-
can't
Trump was-
eviscerate this guy because I feel like the media says like, here's one issue, and they're just like, nah, it's this issue, and I'm like, I don't even see it.
But Trump
we can't
hasn't
even look
started
at his
any
real
wars.
stuff.
He killed that Soleimani.
One shot, took it out. That was going to be World War III.
Yeah. So I give
The
him
dude
a
blew
little
up
credit
like
for that.
one
But
of,
again,
what did he blow up one of our trucks?
So-
we took his life and his whole ended that generation.
Ed Kostar says to me, he says it's Costa. Ed says to me today that
inside jokes.
he likes Trump on education. He goes, he says he supports school choice. It's been 4 years, right? Like he
hasn't been initiated.
Yeah, nothing.
But here's the problem now. This is what, and I swear to God, I am not trying to do this, but these are facts. All I've heard for 4 years is all these stupid allegations against him that have been complete nonsense. And what I'm
can
saying
make
is
that
for
argument.
you, but it's not, I'm asking you, dude, as someone who I know comes from a similar place of actually trying to question this stuff, what does this say about me or you that in the last 4 years, I haven't been all about, this is nonsense, this is bullshit. Instead, I've had to be like, you guys see how
I
all
think
this
it's-
green screen stuff
yeah.
works, right? You see how all these news operatives, it's
I
all
think
bullshit.
maybe you lean conservative. That's
I've already no. If I lean anyway, I've never said it, but I say it's a more liberal leaning or libertarian leaning
Yeah.
right. But that's more.
Same
I'm
as
almost
me.
in the line.
So you're
don't
a
spend
little
my
bit
money. I don't
more-
want to spend your
yeah,
money.
You're a little bit more on that side of the fence.
Dude, I've told you, Ron Paul hologram 2020. If I could, I'm all about that life.
brings me back.
Come on. That's where I come from. So that's my point. I'm basically saying this: the life we're living in right now is nonsense. Where the amount of spin we're getting fed is taking over the airwaves and the news outlets
God.
so bad that I can't even concentrate on what's possibly actually going on.
Yeah, it's one thing.
We were going to have all these World War IIIs and they all just went away.
It's one
Back in the
thing-
day, I'd be like, guys, it's getting real.
Yeah, when they do the normal partisan stuff, same thing when Obama was in, Fox News was pumping out, that he's a terrible guy and the world's gonna end, and then they
Right.
and CNN defends
But
everything.
I think this
now
puts-
they just switch roles. Soon as there's
But
a
because they
transition of
switched
power,
roles, true, but because they switched roles, and I feel like it's such an overwhelming whatever, this also, I feel like, just shows the amount of blue that is in the media, which my issue with media is not as a ghost word, is that's your information dissemination,
Yeah.
folks, all right?
So, yeah.
Everything you're getting told is coming majority from there. On the other side, we have people who are trying to tell you how to live in the privacy of your own home when they shouldn't. So I don't want to be like I'm on that side of things. To be clear as day, leave me the hell alone, I leave you alone. But again, it's just weird
Yeah, if
that
you feel that way, clearly you have more of probably a smaller government
And media is Facebook and Twitter,
yes.
So
But look at them there. What do you mean?
That guy
We've gotten to
lied.
Facebook stories every day, almost
Twitter
every
doesn't-
show about them trying to shut some shit down.
right, that guy got up there and said that Twitter has no effect on the election.
Twitter's the only
Yeah,
one that's
totally
tried to
do
take
that.
a little bit of a neutral as of late, the hardest. They're trying to be neutral, but that's, we'll see what happens with that.
There's a lot of censorship and false, again. So I think the point was too, Mike. They've always kind of had their
Your
little,
page just got shut down.
They
We just
kinda-
talked about that.
They
What do we
kind of have their little
Full circle.
narratives that they try to push out, but this is where it's really impacting people's lives. They're saying this thing, which I still think is similar on par with the seasonal flu. Let's just say it killed 210,000 people. That's 3 times a bad flu season. So again, that whole entire thing could be wrapped up in one crawl on the bottom of the screen saying, "Oh, we had a significantly bad flu season this year." It could be minimized to that level, but instead they've made it to destroy, to wipe out trillions of dollars worth of wealth in our country.
Flus are down 10 million to
Yeah,
10,000.
and the numbers,
Conspiracy.
the numbers I believe are skewed. So when they start doing stuff like that, then it has a real effect on people's lives.
So
It's
true story.
scary.
True story. On that, I'm just going to say real quick that in my line of work, I deal with a bunch of different types of people with different ailments,
Yep.
and there's somebody I deal with who is a non-speaking individual, and they had some health issues. One of them that I know of, allegedly, in a
Jeff
circle
Berry.
of somewhere allegedly, had to get brought in for a different health condition. Once at the hospital, it gets told to us that they were COVID positive. Okay, this is a person who can't even communicate with you any symptoms. I want to be clear; they can't tell you how they're feeling.
Yeah.
Okay, they're in the hospital. They had a lung issue. I'm just trying to be careful what I say or not because I don't want to get somebody in there trying to call me on some weird nonsense. But they were in there for a different lung issue completely. Gets tagged with the COVID tag. Instantly, if you guys don't know, I'm sure you do, that instantly got that hospital a nice fatter check. You know what I mean? A good when they check that box, that's a good 15,000 added to the bill.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So now he's in there for the amount of time. causing some issues. We got to get him out. We get him out. They say that they sent him out. He's still within the time frame that he could be COVID positive, but he has been showing no symptoms at all through the whole thing, meaning he's possibly asymptomatic. So to be clear, we have an individual who cannot reiterate how they feel. They have no symptoms showing that they feel a certain type of way. They went in for an issue that was not COVID related. They got tagged with COVID. Here we are, folks.
Yeah.
The hospital just got a fat check, and you would be none the wiser, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Other than that box being checked,
Mike.
He just lived his life.
On how they're kind of using, like you said, somebody mentioned it earlier about like the metric they're using for cases. Like if that's, I don't understand why that's even the metric, because say 90, like it should be how many people are going to the hospital, how many people are dying. Those numbers are actually
and then just give me a
way
case
down.
point from like last year, the year before to compare.
Those numbers
Really
are
easy.
coming way down. Whether it's people are coming up with natural, people get sick and get the flu every year. One thing too, like I remember like Michael Jordan played it like in the flu game.
Yes.
And it was considered like wow, such an achievement that he hung in there. Now the kid in the World Series,
He's killing everyone.
The kid in the World Series. Yeah, he's killed everyone. Like how many grandmothers did Michael Jordan kill in that flu game? I want to know. Can we go back and find that out? Sue that
Cuomo?
man.
It's
many
not so
grandmothers did
now.
Cuomo
Like
kill?
if you're out sick, like I had a relative that was out sick, and
Guy's out of his mind.
and now everybody wanted to like prosecute her and keep her in a village, a mental institution.
Yeah, a CYA, and I understand companies and CYA, and
But you got to cover your ass, of
yeah, it's
course.
crazy.
Well, that's what it is too. It's someone covering their ass so they're not getting a lawsuit later. But then it's also like I want to make sure people understand it's your job. Everyone's job does a similar thing where if you know you're going to be able to get money from something, you do it. Or if your job has a budget, that's an issue we have like with the city with a lot of times, or any municipality budget. If you're like, we have this much in the coffers, we got to use it up, or else we're not going to have the same amount next year. So they get into a you got to use it or lose it mentality. Or if it's available, you take it before it's not available. A lot of this is that. It's so stupid. The number just goes up because, of course, the hospital is going to be like, X 15,000, 15,000,
Yes,
15,000,
they're
15,000.
self-interested. They need to make money. They're shutting
CVS
down
is
what
probably
they can
raking
do.
in
But then what
millions.
people will do is they'll harp on the case of like, so you had 100 people, 1,000 people come in with like no issues or the most minor issues. Then you're going to have that one person who came in and has a sad story to their life. And everybody's about to be like, well, look at this.
Another thing, too, I recently
Start the tears.
I was in the hospital. My wife just had a third
Congrats.
baby. Yeah, it was the best. And
The name was the best. We were waiting for a W.
The story behind the name, though, I was like, hold on. My girl tried to talk. I was like, hold on. I'm in the middle of something.
No, hold on. Let me get
This-
my alcohol spray.
Yeah, my son Cassius, who's adorable, and I thank my wife for being pregnant for 9 months. It's such a crazy hard thing, but she handled it like a champ. And then the birth itself, obviously, Jeff, is a scary thing.
Did you do it in
Us
4K?
men don't have
Did you
to.
do the birth in 4K?
No, I think we will. UD or whatever it's called.
I requested it be born under a bath of Jim Beam.
Yeah.
See how it would go.
But I was in the hospital. And the nurse, it doesn't seem like, again, at first it was like you have to have a moon. I remember seeing in March, like you have to have like a spacesuit on for the police to show up to someone's house. It was like really weird stuff, and I get all that because nobody kind of knew what was going on. And we were like,
Boy in the bubble.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
at the
now,
very beginning.
dude, I was in the
first
hospital,
2 months, 3
and
months.
it didn't seem like any different. That's obviously the worst place you could possibly be, like germ wise. And my son's another thing, real quick too, on the mask things, right? So me and my wife were kidding around the day. Like my daughter is in kindergarten. So the rule is kindergarten and first grade doesn't have to wear a mask. And then my son, who's in second grade, he does have to wear a mask. So there's some science that says...
Because they go to bed before 9:30
yeah,
at
from
night.
first to second grade, it's like you're...
Wait, so we're segregating kids
and
now?
my son is a baby.
Haven't we always?
You can't...
mean,
hey, and this is what it
blue
comes
eyes,
down
brown
to.
eyes again?
And all this stuff comes down to what people will tolerate, right? So my daughter, as a kindergartner, she probably will be much harder to get her to wear a mask because she's a young kid and she's not used to people telling her to do stupid, absurd things. That's not how we raise our kids.
Yep.
But again, if you go to school for 2 years, but they figure by second grade, they told you, just shut up and listen to the teacher and the
Oh, yeah, I
principal.
like what you did.
Yeah,
I like
so-
what this man just did,
so
folks.
you can-
You went psychological on it. You said,
Yeah.
this kid's brain ain't ready, this kid's is.
Yeah,
I like where you went with
You're
there.
a slave enough
Yep.
now at this point to follow the absurd rules, no matter what they are.
Yeah.
But
That's a
again,
good point.
people don't put masks on babies. My son's obviously he's like a week and a half old because I don't think parents will tolerate like putting a piece of, restricting your child's airway. And they know that it's really not serious for kids. So why would you do it in the first place? And God forbid if a kid strangles them, a baby, SIDS or whatever, and chokes.
Just to show the demonstration factor you brought up too, there was something, I remember during the summer when this was going on, I seen a kid, I don't know if I heard this point somewhere else and then I acknowledged it to someone I was talking to, but one way or another, I remember being in the Battleship Cove, taking a walk, didn't give two shits in the world, did not wear them. All right, it's the sun's out, getting that vitamin D, getting in the oxygen, everything's good.
You're being healthy.
I'm just being healthy, getting in those steps, I'm walking. Shout out to Joe Rogers. Didn't see Joe Rogers out there that day? He's putting it. He goes early, man. I'm more of a
he's
early bird. So anyway, I'm walking and I'm seeing these kids, and it was something to do with the kid having the mask on and the parent. And I remember acknowledging, this is what's happening though. The kid is seeing someone like me and a bunch of other people walk around with no masks. I know other people might have a different spin on this, by the way. But then they're going to see, no, that could happen too. But they're seeing their parent, and now they're looking at the parent. The parent has the mask. They're going to have to start asking questions intuitively. They're going to look at it either like you just said, that they could be afraid of me, but they're also going to start looking at it as like, mommy and daddy do what they're told. I should do what I'm told.
Wow,
You're instituting that.
Yeah, that's scary.
You know what I'm saying? So, but you just brought up another point too, that they're also, if the mom's going home and, reading books to the kid about like why you should be afraid of people with no mask, you're definitely ruining that kid's mind in that way. But this is a mind. You're bringing it up too. That's my point. This is a mind molding time for these kids right now, and we're going to be dealing with this shit for the next 10 years when they're coming up in their adolescence.
Yeah, children,
like what new wave of social justice warriors are coming around the corner, folks?
Yeah. Children model their parents' behavior, so it's kind of funny. Like we have to tell my kids. We'll be going for a walk down Highland Ave, and we'll see like a family of 4 on their bikes, and they're all wearing masks, and my kids will turn back at us, and they're like, "Oh my God, Dad, you see this family
blowing bubbles at each other.
What's wrong with these people?" And I have to tell them, listen, some people feel differently about it. They're well within their right to wear a mask, but we explain to them we don't think it's a real serious health thing. That's the thing.
Shouldn't that be no different than a hijab?
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
No, man, like if you see someone, you're like, what's
right.
that?
It's a cultural thing.
Hey,
really.
that's what I'm trying to make a point. That's just a cultural thing.
Well, here's my
They
gripe.
Here's
my
they
gripe.
believe
Why
some
didn't
shit
we
that the
have
government
these things
told them.
when
I
I
don't
was
know.
in my
It's a
teens and
cultural
early
thing.
20s.
Fauci
I
said
could have got
we
laid
don't-
a whole lot more.
Yeah, Fauci said we don't need the masks, and then
He's going back and forth.
While it was the critical point, I think he belongs in prison.
He's
or
in
worse.
cahoots. They're all in cahoots.
Charlie Baker, throw them all in jail. I hate these people.
Like there's so much cahoots. You know what's the cahoots I've let slip by, and I'm disappointed in myself. This is how bad the media is. I let the whole bar thing, like his past connections, where that's going, and what it could be being cleaned up.
The
like
Attorney General?
Yeah, but I'm just saying. I'm sure there's some nice. That's a good, convenient. But I can't even give a damn to focus because every day it's been Russia, complete nonsense. Meanwhile, the kids, save the kids, all this good stuff.
I'm getting censored. I have
Jeff's
unlimited.
getting throttled by Sprint.
Did we just have the page taken down?
No, it says that I have 37 gigabytes out of 50 used for the month, and I'm going to
Well, if you
experience.
stayed off the Pornhub, you filthy animal.
Yeah,
If Jess was here, she would have asked you
Listen,
that question.
the
So
I
there
have
you
to
go, you
shut
just
off my
answered it for her.
Wi-Fi and my Bluetooth
Mikey,
because
this guy has
my
like
wife
17
rolled up
pages.
from church.
This guy's
Is
like
this
me
browsers?
This guy's like me at a four of the base. He has 17 pages of notes. We haven't looked at a single. Is there any points you wanted to make on it? Out of
the
this chicken
marijuana
scratch?
industry.
Yeah, you know what? I'll do the rundown.
He's like,
He
it
does
was
have a lot of chicken
43 degrees in
We're-
Fall River today.
We're going to go over a few things.
4:55, 5 to the hour.
You got
I-
5 minutes. This will be like the Mead Minute on Mikey.
I heard there's going to be a.
Did you see what he said?
Yeah, call your lawyer.
No, my lawyers are going to be calling me any minute.
Leslie. All right, so listen, I'll tell you what. On South Main Street near Dirty Nick's, there's going to be a couple of setups, raids on
This guy
prostitutes
knows
and
about all the
Johns.
police raids.
So
Wow.
if I were you guys, I'd go to the South Park maybe about 6:45 tonight. And,
What do you got? The same
Yeah,
connect
what,
to Steve
what kind of
Camara?
mold do you have in the Vice?
Yeah. What else? Fires. We got the
Nobody thought
fires.
that
Stock
one.
market.
For the
Predictive
record,
is
hold
right.
on. For the record,
Howard Stern, David Letterman, Lady
the
Gaga.
last time I ran on dismantling the Vice unit. I don't think there should be people going around. I actually had this conversation with a
That's
kid
a
who did
public
a show
health
here,
issue, though.
Craig Reese, who was on Sarah Rebello show. We were going back and forth talking about like stop and frisk. My point was, people say, "Oh, cops are racist" or whatever, but I think primarily they're targeting behaviors and areas
Yeah.
that are behaviors that minorities are engaging in these specific areas. So, the cops are in an unmarked car on 4th Street with binoculars, looking for someone to hand-to-hand transaction, $10 worth of drugs, and then they jump out. People got weapons on them. It's a very unsafe thing, over $10 worth of drugs.
But how do you get to the kilos if you don't get that person to rat on the
I don't think it matters. Like
next.
Budweiser is selling, truckloads of alcohol, weed. You got Will Flanagan's weed store down the street, and they're selling.
So legalize it then, right?
Legalize it, of course.
Portugal did it. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the voice of reason. I don't want to do that counter devil thing. But at some point,
Mikey's going to be the what is it? Nixon's war on drugs.
No new taxes.
Advocate.
No, that was Bush. No new taxes.
Hey, drugs are legalized.
So no, but at some point you got to get to a regulation factor. Anybody out there who's want to counterpoint to that is going to be at some point there's got to be a regulatory factor, or else you're just going to get anybody.
Maybe you don't let kids have drugs. I don't know.
No. I don't care about the laws. I meant like what you're getting. Like if I make brownies,
That's
at some point you got to regulate. Well, what's in your brownies? Because are you lacing your brownies?
People are ODing now because they're taking drugs smuggled in.
Right, so you're open to open,
Yes.
but I'm saying you're open to open, which I'm on this page, open to open market, but regulated and like limited regulation.
It would have to be.
Or are you full on? Because I know where you
even-
came from, so I'm trying to see where you are at the
Yeah,
moment.
I'm not really. I put it this way. I'm realistic, so I would go for
with you there.
incremental, like even the marijuana thing. So they went, decriminalized, then legalized, heavily regulated through the.
I'd be concerned with
CCC.
safety.
And
That's
then,
the only thing I give a shit.
Now I've gone to even like say they have legalized marijuana. I think people should actually buy weed from the black market weed people.
Still looking for a sponsor.
Yeah, to stay away from the all the crazy taxes and I don't think they have a right to steal people's money.
Okay, yeah. So to be clear, yes, I'm with you on this, and so no
By the way,
over-regulating
all the
to
licenses
take.
were being sold by the mayor of Fall River. Those letters of I forget
Allegedly.
Yeah, so
I'd like
that's
to
what
state.
happens when the government gets involved. You know what
Right.
I mean? They all try. to
Well,
get
once
their
you
piece.
have an easy in, someone's gonna use
setup.
it
You
to
know, it's a
get.
setup.
Greed's gonna take over.
Correct.
But I meant, simple regulation. What I'm talking about is not the overtaxation. I'm just saying you can have a marketplace that's pretty simple where safety reasons I don't
Pasteurized
understand.
milk.
Yeah. Like, what are we
I actually am for raw milk as well. If you want to drink
Fall
milk
River
right
raw
out of the
milk.
cow teat, I think you should be able to do that.
Shout out to the first guy to do that.
You drink.
Went right for it.
Wait, Dallas said he used to drink his girlfriend's milk.
That would explain.
Now it's getting raw.
I think you know
It
who
got raw.
drank the poor kid at Harbor Terrace. His mother, the father was
The kid
drinking
who
all the milk.
passed
That
away?
way the kid who was emaciated.
Oh,
14?
Yeah, 14.
Son of a-
What's going on with that? I did have some
Son
local
of a-
Jeff
things.
set a new record for talking about most children passing away in unfortunate circumstances in one show as a total downer.
A British gamble put $5 million on Trump. He stands to win $15 million.
Nice.
Who put what?
A British billionaire, I would assume.
I've heard my inside sources said Trump should win Georgia. I heard that was like a.
I would hope so.
But
think the whole
heard it
thing
was one that they're.
Comes down
It's
to
a wagerish
Pennsylvania.
one.
I'm not saying anything, radical.
NYPD endorsed.
Breaking news here, folks. I think it all goes down to Pennsylvania.
Jordan, who did you vote for?
Arizona,
Did you vote?
I voted for Jorgensen. Yeah.
I wanted to ask RBT who he voted for.
I don't think he got out and voted today. Yeah.
No, he lives across from in the wooded area across from the
Across
Somerset
from Government
town.
Center.
No,
I don't
Tom
think
Somerset.
he
He's a Somerset resident
Is he
now.
in Somerset?
Oh,
Yes.
I know what I wanted to bring up. Because I was on favor of. I personally was in favor of one. Yes, on one was me, but that was the automotive one. But more importantly,
Hawkins and Walker, just to be clear on who the Green Party Green Rainbow candidate was.
question 2 though, the ranked choice voting. How do you feel about that?
I
voted
said no.
against it, yeah.
I
You're
said
against
no.
it.
Yeah.
I think if we had ranked choice voting, I think like Erica Scott Pacheco would be like the governor of Massachusetts. I might just be paranoid.
Well, there's going to
That
be
was my
a pro
fear.
and a con on both sides. So obviously, like, there's
Melissa
neither one are
Costa,
going to be
the Lieutenant
right.
Governor.
Yeah, Melissa Costa, the chief of police of Fall River somehow. Right, I don't. It's just I'm just afraid. Like Sean O'Connell, like the
What would
Ian
be the-
Tompkins, the Communist Party of Fall River. I think they would
Ian, I
somehow
haven't seen him in a
steal
while.
Power.
No, he disappeared.
He must have blocked me.
He's the communist.
No, he just disappeared.
The communist
A lot of people are
landlord.
going around blocking right now, though. This is
blocking season.
Oh yeah.
I know. I was trying to think of a funny pun, but I can't. Something blocking season. It's definitely though. Like I've been having either people like weird people that should have no issue just in their feelings, and I don't even post hard like that. And I'm like, I'll look and I'll see someone else mention someone and go back to say how they've been. I cannot find them. Huh? That's odd. It's a very odd time. I'm telling you.
I get the urge to like debate and stuff. Then I just go to Jordan's page and watch him trounce on everybody's feelings.
I disagree.
Not
Nah,
anymore.
he's been quiet. I don't
I
think that's.
saw you poking and prodding.
Oh no, I give people a hard time.
You know what I
A
like?
couple shots of my mathematical abilities.
I like when there's like a couple. There's like these two people from the LGBTQUAV crowd that you got that want to cuddle with you guys a
Oh,
lot.
now
Those are my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Sure.
those
are
I
my-
gonna say
I didn't
now
wanna
I'm
say
a-
names,
I'm
but I
a
know who it
bigot.
is. Huh?
I think I'm gonna say now I'm a bigot.
No.
Yeah, Sean,
And I-
Sean,
and no, even
he
that- I know
sexually
these
harasses
people.
me. Sean O'Connell.
Yeah, no, I
sexually
think that's
harasses me.
why I find it's
And I
funny.
don't think it's okay just because he has a certain sexual persuasion.
His reference-
It's just as wrong to sexually harass a person of the same gender.
See, I'm flattered when he calls me hun.
How does your
Because
wife? How does your wife feel about that?
Fair.
How does your
still-
wife feel though?
My wife, I don't think is threatened.
I'm still.
You sure?
I'm still
Some of that-
ruined when the Bishop Conley priest didn't diddle me. I still have a complex. So
but
I
honestly-
like when somebody flirts with me.
Honestly, those people I think mean well, but they scare the hell out of me. Like again, Erica Scapachico.
You mean sneaking
like,
in
I
through
feel
a vote
if
though?
they ever became in
But you-
power, they would really hurt the
But
city of
what I'm trying to say with pros and cons is, wouldn't that just initiate a whole new game? So like, you'd have to learn how to play that style of election. But I don't know if it would necessarily mean that it
Yeah, I don't know
they
how it would pan
sneak
out.
in. I just feel like. I don't know. I don't know. I'd be at least. I wouldn't want to write it in stone, but I feel like it's something that could.
If it's gonna increase my chances of winning next September just to pass the primary, for God's sakes, I'd be all for it now.
Like
mean,
they should do a test
scares
run though.
me.
Like maybe in the next one,
Just get rid of
act on the side like
SJWs.
as if it happened. Let's see what's going on. Maybe act and use that as a launching pad to show me what my decisions could have been.
Speaking of scary,
I don't think no one's done
and
that.
speaking of these people,
Question
though,
two people.
and speaking of the cancel culture stuff,
SJWs.
these people definitely, again, they scare me because they try to destroy your lives. And one person who has a show on this this media channel, Sarah Rebello, I know, like they try to get her fired from like every place she works at.
That was a
'cause
lot of times for that.
she's strong in her opinions, and I always give her a ton of credit for that. Because I know, like, she gets death threats and shit like that. I used to get stuff like that too in my inbox.
Lug nuts
Probably not as
sticking
much
out.
as her, but I'm not as aggressive as her either. And I give her credit for being strongly opinionated. But the point is, yeah, they tried to, they called my boss at my last job. And try to get you like fired or whatnot, and they did it to Sarah repeatedly. I think they kind of went messing where you're at, Jeff.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Yeah, that's always a
they
chuckle.
tell people.
I'm the one responding, kind
They
of
tell
like your
people
wife.
they're these like tolerant, enlightened, caring people, and really they're like the biggest ghouls on earth.
Yeah.
So that's obviously something to keep,
Literally the
tabs on.
biggest.
Yeah, like if, yeah. So I mean, comments like that don't help, Jeff. But yeah, they do come. They come for the jugular. They try to get you.
Yeah,
they try
they
to get
do.
your kids living under a bridge or
Right.
something because they disagree with your stance on like making a wedding cake for gay people or something. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Right.
really bizarre.
Unless they're diabetic.
Yeah,
of
they
course.
really want to destroy
Some of
their
my
enemies.
favorites on that was there's somebody I've shared with Jeff and some other people before. There was this person I know who made a big post about how they were saddened at the fact that they were confused but saddened that they had to have to enjoy what's that, the chicken sandwich place. No.
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
That their wife had
were
brought home.
conflicted?
They were conflicted. I have it
Conflicted.
screenshotted. You cuck. You
Yeah.
cuck.
Me and my
okay?
wife
No,
joke about
they
that.
were mad that not mad. They were conflicted that the wife brought home some of their sauce, and they're all about that sauce.
They liked it, but felt they were racist for liking it.
They were
Whoa.
conflicted. Yeah, that they liked the sauce, but they were conflicted. It's not even
Also-
racist. No, that's the whole LGB thing.
Yeah,
like, so
LGB,
they're like, but they're
religious.
conflict. I'm like, wait a minute.
But
If
let me-
I was ever against something, I'm not eating at the establishment. So
Yeah.
first off, you cuck. Like you shouldn't have been there. Second, you're just looking for like.
True, but have you ever had better service at a fast food restaurant than Chick-fil-A?
I'm being honest with you. I've
do
never
it
had
well.
it, but I'm not
Mikey,
against that. But I'm not.
Mikey,
I've heard good things.
Like I'm waiting for them to tuck a bib under my collar.
But are you against? Are you as a business? I know. I don't think you are. Are you against as a business? If that's what you want to do in there, I don't think they do anything that's too overly hateful. I'm not even sure. But are you?
No, yeah, you
I
should.
know where they come from a little bit.
You're hypocritical if you
If you are
they
so
go to
against their
Walmart-
views.
Yeah, if they're so against big business and they go to Walmart, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Right, there's
that's
too many people that
hypocritical. You
live
can't
in
take
that
them serious.
realm, but then that will still like preach to you the morality, the high ground, and it's like I don't think you're really, or like you're on your iPhone. I don't want to hear shit
Correct.
from you if you're on your iPhone.
Correct.
Shit.
I will tell you, if
If
you
you're a
go through
communist.
the
Yeah.
McDonald's drive-through with,
Yeah.
with like Rush Limbaugh on or a Trump sticker, There's probably a 50-50 shot the little minority that's going to serve you the drink probably spit in it.
One thing too, like these people come from this place of, I don't know if it's jealousy or whatever, but they just kind of hate successful people. Like if you have too much money, you're a bad person. Where I grew up in a housing project, right, where I never saw people who had money as like the enemy. I saw them as the goal.
It's a
right?
goal,
Yeah,
right.
to become successful. I never thought I'm just going to try to tear down rich people and try to make a living myself. So that's another,
That's an infiltration, though, I think. Like, this is long, slow rabbit hole talk, but, like, I feel like that's an infiltration. That's something when we do this shit to other countries, okay? We infiltrate and we try to put in mind games. We mess with their populace to try to sway elections. When they talk about this Russia shit and everything, I really think this is actually like a China slow play. I don't want to get into full here, but this whole, like, weakening of like what we are as a people, how we see, because like I know what we've done as a country. I'm one of, like I said, for the longest time, I'm calling out atrocities. I get it, but that's a little different than like just continuously self-hating, self-loathing. You know what I'm saying? And you're beating down your energy. These are so like with the business sense, you're beating down people's will and drive to chase. You're holding them down, you know. So you've killed the entrepreneur spirit, and instead said someone else who's already made it is supposed to supply you with your rights.
I don't know
your rights for healthcare.
Time we have left, but one thing I agree 100% what you just said, and I just had this conversation recently with a person who's kind of from that political bent, like a couple days ago. I feel, and again, same thing. Fall River Public Schools, right? I feel they're failing people on a universal scale. Because of what you just said, they're telling people, oh, go do good in school, go get a good job, pay taxes. I think that's all bad. Like, again, you have the president who like doesn't pay federal taxes if he doesn't have to, right? I pay as little taxes as legally possible. So these people are graduating from school, Mikey, that they want to get maybe if you do a good job, you get a job making 50 grand, maybe 100 grand, and you'll be a total success. That if that's the mindset that you have, and all these kids coming out of public school have, you're already, any of these people are capable of making $10-50 million, but they're not telling them. And again, I think some of it is intentional and it's political. Well,
if you handed down the memo, you do what the curriculum tells you. It's like
also you come from your experience. All those people that work at the Fall River School Department are employees. They get a paycheck, right? So they're only talking their truth as well. Where again, I just think that's where we're failing all these kids, and I think of all the poor kids that go to these schools. I know my kids. I mess around with Jeff. Like people ask me, oh, what are you going to do for college for your kids? Like I don't want my kids to go to high school. I've already said that. Like I want my kids at 14 to be making the money that Matt Malone makes
on the job training,
so they don't even have to go to high school, right? Never mind college, like that. And that's not something that any kid in Fall River could, thinks that they're not capable of. Everyone thinks they're not. I spoke again, and I've mentioned this before. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. In a couple of years, about 3-year time frame, I was able to acquire like $1 million in assets. I have mortgages against them. But it wasn't difficult to do. But if you're not trying to do it, you'll never do it, obviously, like anything else. So, again, people in Fall River, all these poor people, they're waiting for the $600 in unemployment to come through every week or whatever, or the stimulus check, you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. This is a big comment. This is like when I've had Sarah, or when Sarah was going on about the other stuff, I'm like, these are one of those, like, we could have like a 3-hour thing because that's the problem. It's an overall matrix issue. Like, we're just surrounded by everything around you is telling you, limit yourself, keep yourself at this pace.
No one in the Fall River School Department, no one in the Fall River School Committee, no one in the city council, the mayor, and again, that's another big problem too. The mayor is a 30-year, government employee working for a school. He just tells kids like, how high to jump. You know what I mean? Like it's not. They can't handle kids have to wear uniforms because letting them dress themselves. And now this guy's in charge of adults. You know what I mean? Like that's a problem. Like if you can't even handle the kids, you can't get kids to not be on their phones. I get it. I understand it's a generational thing. But they're in this, and they come from this environment where money doesn't matter. The government's just going to give you whatever they're going to give you. Success really doesn't matter.
Well, it starts there. That's where it starts at. The issue starts at the world is going to provide me what I need, and so then you say, well, where do I get it from? And then they've been trained to think from government. So you first issue is the world is going to give me what I need. I'm sorry to tell you, it's not going to happen. Like, I had this conversation with very nice people, and I feel like I always have to like teeter in depending, because if they first meet you, that's way too hard. So there's a lot of sensitive souls out there who care about people. We need these type of people too. But what people got to understand is if you start from ground zero, where are we going with this? The world don't give two shits. You have to give a shit about your neighbor or whatever. So that's where we start.
It's
but when they talk like it's a given thing, like they use given rights in context that I don't think they fully understand. Like, you didn't wake up, there wasn't something on the side of you, a piece of paper on your birthstone that said, here's given to you.
Yeah.
Gifted,
or
the
you
universe.
Can make a living working 30, 40 hours a week or whatever, and it's going to support everything you want to do. But it's sad.
Yeah, or even if you're getting overtime. People chase overtime like that. You're still not fixing your issue here. Something's going on.
It's sad that we waited the first hour to get into this, because it is very important stuff. We're probably ending, right, Jeff? I imagine.
Yeah, whatever.
But if you can edit this to the first 2 minutes of the show, I think we should.
I think I can go back. I think I'm going to start going back and making some clips at some point.
If you want to make it, you can make it.
To listen to this, which this is the most important. I tell your daughter, Jeff, there's certain things. So another friend, family friend, her daughter, I saw her talk about UMass Dartmouth, where I went, and she's like, oh, I went to a job fair, and they all want these free internships, and she's kind of poo-pooing on it. Like, I think she thought she was supposed to like get out of college and like get a job. I think a lot of kids believe that because they're told that. Where I'm trying to tell her, look, if only because of my own personal experience, my last job that I got into, I got from UMass my senior year, getting an internship, is making zero. So like $15 an hour makes me laugh, because I've worked for $0 an hour. It's called a college internship, and it allowed me to get stay on short money, part-time with him, stay there a couple more years, and he pays me more, and then office manager, and then I'm making like decent money, and I've learned so much. Jobs are only good for learning. That's the paycheck is cool. Paycheck is to survive, right? To not starve to death. A job is where you learn to hopefully, do things for yourself going forward.
You know what I'm going to do right now? I kind of caught myself paying attention to ourselves.
You can do both.
No, what I think is going on here, though, is when you were just talking and when we're speaking like this.
Oh, Jeff has a philosophical difference. Jeff, you can make money in a job. You can. You can, Jeff.
No, I'm just saying, don't go anywhere.
Oh, jeez.
You're going to sell me my next house, too.
Oh. No,
it'll be a coffin.
if you're going to, or who we're talking to right now, and like how we're talking and who's getting something from this, there's a certain type of people. What I was going to say is eventually, if you haven't met this yet, I have, and I cut my energy off at a certain point. There's just going to be certain types of people, though. They don't want to hear it anyway. Like, I've always had the whole, there's the three types of people. You get your sheep, shepherds, and wolves, whatever. Like, if you're going to be the shepherd, you're going to be the shepherd. You're going to look for a way to figure, you're a problem solver. But there's always going to be these sheep, man. So,
yes.
And I don't mean it as a negative. It's like a cog in the system.
Obviously.
You need cogs in the system. So it's just one of those, like.
Well, I tell my wife, and
if you're paying attention and you hear a spark and you want to do something, do something.
This is going to sound
if not,
really
you're okay.
Selfish and awful of me, Mikey, but I'll be honest. Like, I tell my wife, like, what you said, there's always going to be sheep. Like 90% of people think, you need a job. That's the way you get money and not starve, is you go get a job and someone gives you a paycheck. And like I tell my wife, I'm glad that the vast majority of society believes that, because if everyone thought the way I thought, everyone would be fighting over any property that comes on the market.
Too many chiefs, not enough Indians.
Yeah,
is that racist?
It's easier for me to be, and you don't even have to be like that much more educated. I've spent tens of thousands of dollars and years learning about real estate and trying to make money in it, and I'm still only scratching the surface. But it's such a good opportunity that you can make a lot of money in a short amount of time, automate the process, whatever. But most people again are never even in the game. So I'm thankful for that. I'm like, that sounds bad, but like I said, if not, I tell my wife,
are we having an honest convo?
I'm like, hey, every time you go look at a multifamily in Fall River, there would be 500 people trying to buy it, and that's like an impossible environment to operate in. You know what I mean? But it's not. It's only a handful of people, because everyone's spending their money on vacation. I'm spending money on something that's gonna make me money over time.
Contentious comments and posts I see you on sometimes that just popped in my head with this one. So with houses. Tenements.
Yeah.
So when we got tenements, and you get those famous posts that go around where somebody's like, landlord just sold the house, I got to get out.
That's never the true story, by the way.
Looking for a 3-bedroom that takes dogs and cats, maybe turtles. 550 tops, please.
Oh, you believe in voluntary
parking off?
Then?
No. This is where I'm going with this. So you have those people that jump in. And then they're found realistically with a slap to the face of someone saying you're crazy. I pay $1,200 for that right now. Someone else saying, well, I can get that for $900. And then the conversation ultimately goes to like someone saying about the what do you call it, enforced rents, what's the rent control.
Yep.
And then so I've seen you in those convos. It gets, and now you're coming now from the property owner side and coming from that conversation. So with the conversation open right now on the table, I'm looking at it. What's your take back on this, or what's your rebuttal on this, whatever you want to call it?
Sure.
My take on this would be, I'm not for rent control because I see where that goes. I see the problem with that. But we ultimately have a problem where rents are being artificially inflated because of all this, the help from that the subsidies that the governments are giving out to other people. So in other words, you have someone coming in who's artificially paying a rent that's crazy high, that if those artificial subsidies were not included, the normal folk around here would not be paying that much. Thus, the property would not be valued at whatever. The whole thing would level itself off.
This is a hat tip to Dave Folger. So are you telling me, Mike, that government got involved to make housing more affordable and it actually made it more expensive?
Yeah, I know.
Like,
You preach it to the choir, right? The government got involved to fix it and made it worse. What? They broke windows to pay for new windows?
I have
What?
a Section 8 tenant. I have a Section 8 tenant. It came with my house in Rhode Island. So I see the pros and cons of it. But yeah,
pros and cons. Come on, if we're gonna have a real conversation, the pros are for the landlord, the owner, you're gonna get more money.
Like
what I'm saying though, you now have. So if we're gonna have an authentic conversation though, that person now knows he can get this. So he's now gonna be tempted to get another one. They're gonna get another one. You've just now artificially inflated your revenue or your the amount of profit you can get, the value of that property. The property on the side who has none of those tenements, has people who are just working, are like, okay, that's cool. We can't afford that. But he says, wait a minute, my neighbor can get that. The value is that. I can get the whole street like that.
Yeah.
So it's not, what I'm getting at is, never am I a person who's like, you can't go for the most value you can get, the most bang for your buck. For facts. So
He's been
get what you
watching
can.
Walt Amaral videos, I can tell.
No, I was going to use that as a joke. That's hysterical. You said that. I was going to say we should have like 8. When you start talking about properties, like we should put up like 10 screens up there. Hey,
let me move it a little bit to the side. I hear what you're saying on
Section 8. Not even the Section 8. No, the whole issue, because that's the issue.
Is this.
What's your commentary
I feel
on
if you buy a piece of property and you own it, this is a car, this is a house, this is any piece of property. You should have the right to be able to do what you want with it, and you're free to not rent from it. Now, if the government wants to come meddle in it and then say, well, this is Johnny, and Johnny for some reason can't pay rent, you know what I mean, and we're going to help him out. Yeah, that's going to skew it probably. Again, any government involvement is gonna.
I know, but this gets into a tricky position for you now, because at one point it's like, F the government with the helping of this, but on the other it's like, well, if you want to beef my check, which I'll take too. Like, people always make those. I've had to hear that before. It's not. It is and it is. That's why I brought it up, to be a challenging convo, because like I've always said, if there was a hole in the wall and money's coming out, I'm going to tell somebody, hey, we got to fix that. But if you don't think I'm going to sit there and get the money while it's coming out, you're crazy. But I will acknowledge we have a problem. We got to fix that. Let's fix that.
Will you become the next slumlord Donald Trump of Florida?
Donald Trump. I'm looking for basically Steve Kamara status.
Well, he's got the heads up on the right on the.
We're gonna start the descent into the end of the show.
Yeah, it's.
I just wanted to know.
Wait, just real quick to answer Mikey's question. Yeah, you're right. Again, I inherited the tenant who had a lease, so I couldn't break it. But honestly, if they moved out tomorrow, it'd probably be like a little bit of a blessing, just me personally. But it doesn't work that way. Like, if then again, I guess I'm a bad guy if I evict the person. Because it's not. I guess philosophically.
I was more looking at I'm more looking at the angle of the new person who's looking for an apartment, and they're not on Section 8, and they're like, I got to get an apartment, and they're like, my freaking apartment, not mine, but this person would be like, my freaking apartment. They're looking for something. It's like $1,200, and they're like, I understand, prices go up, but we're talking about, say, a year ago, that same place was $900 or $850.
Yeah.
They're like, well, what's going on? It's the block. The prices have gone up because they know what they can get.
Yeah, prices are going up.
So we're going to start to reach a problem though here.
Yeah, no, values are going up. It's putting a lot of pressure on renters for sure, and it helps out property owners for sure. The more money you can make. I don't know.
But then the property owner starts getting rebuttaling with the fact that they get hit with these tenants that are not the best tenants sometimes.
The answer is like Bob Karam's putting in a bunch of apartments right on the waterfront, and again, these guys are developing all these apartments. The more apartments you have, the more supply. It should ease the demand, and the more competition it creates should bring pressure down on rents. There's obviously a lot more into it too, But again, but I see people on Forever like Gino. He's like, oh, Bob Karam. He's bringing all these he's calling him a sellout. I'm like, dude, the guy's bringing apartments here. He's well within his rights. Someone sold him the land.
Yeah, he's going to help. But help the situation.
His complaint was, hey, he's got an inside track with the government, and I will agree. Yeah, that is wrong. Like clearly, that's wrong. But that's always going to happen too. I'm a realist. You know what I mean? Like that. These people have connections. They put these people in office so that they're investments. You know what I mean? When they pay,
I don't see anything wrong with that.
I actually do, because again, I don't want the government picking. I don't want the government picking winners and losers.
It's not even about the picking the winners; it's setting up the losers, though. That I feel have more of a problem, because when you try to narrate the story so your buddies win, you've also coincidentally effed up these people. That's where the problem is. It's less that I hate that you helped your friends. It's you cut out these 10 people.
Yeah, it's like when you say you're a woman of color, you go to a school or whatever, and obviously you took maybe you're not, and you take someone else's seat. The other person suffers.
How many times now? Yeah. Like we brought up once on the show, but to that topic, but to be on a lighter note, no pun intended. How about like when the Asian crowd at the Yale, when they were trying to sue, wasn't it Yale, I believe, or Harvard, suing because they were being racially discriminated because there was too many of them. Yeah. They were like, oh, you too many of you are getting in. Keep lower that one.
I will say this: that Bob Karam did buy that Duval land, and I know of someone else in Florida that mentioned it a couple of years ago about buying that. Mm-hmm. Another local
he put his money.
Remember, you said you were thinking about buying that.
I don't know. Did I? Might have
you had mentioned
I want to buy everything.
Probably to keep it as a bar, but the train station coming down.
Oh, yeah, the old bar that was there.
Yeah, Duval Cafe,
the cafe, yeah, you're right.
Now the train's going to be pulling right up.
There was bullet shells on the ground and stuff. I was I saw that as a
now it's worth $2 million.
Yeah, I saw that as a good investment. I knew the train was coming through.
All right, so to wrap things up, who's going to win this presidency tonight?
Nobody. It's going to go for another 2 months.
It's going to go for another couple months. I agree.
Okay, so now if Trump wins, let's say that they know Florida, because they already said 10,000 more Republicans voted than Democrats in Florida, West Palm Beach, which has nothing to do with anything. But what
it makes you sound smart, though.
Right, yes. I'm a political insider.
Talking to John King here.
Yeah. But do you think there will be rioting?
Yeah.
Yeah, only that's another point. I think only one side will riot. There's only one side that has a history of rioting. I don't think conservatives. And again, I'm not a Republican. I don't support Republicans. But I do. The history has shown. Black Lives Matter have been,
Well, they have to spray paint all the parts where they're putting up the boardings. They have to spray paint like we support Black Lives Matter.
That's a lot of work.
Some portion of them. I'll tell you one thing: if a Jordan Sylvia rally, someone started burning down a house or something, it wouldn't be. They were mostly peaceful. There was only one in the crowd.
Speaking of at a Jordan Silva rally, it wasn't a Jordan Silva rally, but Jordan Silva was at that COVID rally. How many people have died?
Yeah, they said we're going to kill.
How many of you are still standing?
200,000 people.
How many are still standing? Jesus, I knew it. That was the super spreader.
Yeah,
the super spreader.
Instead of Trump.
It was a super spreader.
That was great. Jordan got the most attention during that rally. Jordan, you're like a A-list celebrity in Florida.
I'm like a lightning rod for hateful people.
I can name at least 10 people that are probably shitting in their pants knowing that you're probably going to be debating them next fall.
I don't think so. I think they might have an uncomfortable hour or so of a debate, but other than that, I'm sure they're going to win in landslide fashion.
Yeah. So, well, instead of the purple bags, you'll be saying, Mayor Coogan, how many times do I have to ask you, how are you going to enforce this non-mask wearing order?
Yeah, I don't even know.
I'll still be looking at people honestly, to see if they have a mask on.
Next September, the next fiscal year's budget is going to be in such shambles. I saw like the newcomers come in and they maybe tried to raise a couple things, but they did absolutely nothing regarding the financial situation. I have plans and policies that I think would solve. And again, it's all on the expenditure side. None of these people, they say they're, somebody ran as a libertarian and then the other guy is a Republican, allegedly, but they didn't cut any spending whatsoever. And you could just keep raising money. They'll just keep spending it faster and faster. So the spending is the side I think you have to focus on. And I do have ideas of cutting spending.
I'm pretty sure they're going to get hit really hard with these budgets though now because of everything getting screwed with COVID, which if they went to leadership, they could have just said, no, we're not going to do that. Or we're going to look at the numbers ourselves and make some, whatever. They could have did some things, but they're going to end up now having to swallow some hard economic pills.
We're
All
gonna
that.
hear
Where's all the weed money?
We're gonna hear the lose 100 teachers, 50 police.
Oh,
50
for
fire.
sure.
That's all coming.
So I got Johnny's Crossroad Wine and Spirits is now going to be able to get that extra business between, what is it, 9:30? Everyone's got to be home in Mass.
Is this a paid ad?
Now to
advertisement?
11. So he's going to be with the flavored wraps and Marlboro menthols and all those cigarettes.
Oh, that stuff's still legal.
The
or
Black
is it going,
Lives
like, on
Matter
the back of his
cigarettes.
trunk?
No, you can have those.
Oh, nice.
If you want to get nice in shape like Jordan and myself, go to
I
Excellent
vape.
Pizza.
I vape 5 times a day.
And you can get some nice grinders, and of course for your automotive needs, Prestige Auto.
Look for that
That'll
cereal.
wear well
Prestige.
car.
Buy all your cars at Prestige.
Buy all your
Prestige Auto. You
I bought
too
2
can get a
recently.
new.
Yeah,
A new to you
we've
car.
got a bunch of them. Everyone buys them from me. I give them away. Any last minute thoughts for any of you gentlemen?
For real, it's been awesome
I think
to
my
catch
cab
up with
is
you guys.
here.
It's been
I
real.
was hoping we'd have more production, but again, I just know we sit down, the 3 of us. If like Tony was here, forget about it. It would have been even worse. But yeah, it's good to catch up with you guys.
I think
obviously.
it went pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I think
Yeah,
looking back
no,
on the show, it's
definitely.
not as bad as you think at all. I think this was pretty
No.
good. A lot of stuff got brought out on the
very good.
table. And for you too, honestly, if you're gonna be going forward with this in a serious capacity, this looks like you can use some things from here.
Because I'll tell you, Mike D'Olivera is like the best video editor in Fall River.
I said I'm gonna I
Yeah.
can pull some
need
clips
him
from
to
this,
just
Jordan.
help me, destroy these people online.
Shout out to Jess
Never translates. to
Jess
vote.
Machado, who's not with us
At
tonight.
least it makes us
I'll
laugh.
tell you what'll translate the votes.
Jess has turned
Can I
Massachusetts
get an American
red.
flag right here?
Jess Machado and Sarah Bello, they can organize a hateful. I'm only kidding. No, I mean a conservative Trump
No,
rally.
she's got some
They've
good.
got hundreds of people lined up in Massachusetts for Trump. So that's a skill. That's a valuable skill. that
crazy.
They should
No, I
be
think-
monetizing.
I think Massachusetts is going to
Good
be
job.
not. I don't think he's going to win, but I think Massachusetts is going to be a higher number than anyone thought. Like I think we might see like a 60-40, like
I think
40
it's gonna
Trump.
be a bloodbath in
Yeah,
places like
it's
California,
80,
Massachusetts,
20.
But
All blue, you think?
we'll
You
see.
think so,
Actually,
huh?
I'm gonna go on the record.
I don't know,
Prediction,
man.
Prediction. When it's all said and done, I think Biden will win.
Well,
Oh!
crazy.
no,
That's
it's not that
crazy to
crazy.
me,
By the
but
time
I
this
think
all
Biden may
dissipates,
win.
all the bullshit. But no.
Ouch.
Hey, honestly, man, if you look at people's local stuff and you start seeing people ask questions, one of the most interesting ways I've seen this question posed or polled was, "What do you think your neighbors? Who do you think your
Yeah,
neighbors are
people don't
voting
wanna
for?"
admit to being Trump
Got
supporters.
it.
Yeah.
Now, when I look down those comment sections, I'm gonna tell you right now, no joke, you'd see like Biden, Trump, Biden, Trump, Biden, Trump.
Yeah.
Hate. I'm voting Biden, but my stupid neighbors are voting Trump. So I'm gonna tell you right now, I really think that whole silent majority thing, it's not a joke. I'm not saying he's gonna win, but I think it's like I said, people think it's gonna be a clean
We'll
sweep.
see. I'll predict Biden. Mikey will predict Trump.
Not
Jeff-
for the
Jeff will
whole.
be the-
I
Jeff's
think I
gonna-
predict pain.
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, we're all getting screwed regardless.
Yeah, no, Trump will probably win. I don't know. They don't know right.
If there's not a clean, if Biden doesn't come in clean tonight, which I don't think he will,
Until
we're gonna
what,
have
his niece?
problems for 2 months.
And it's
If
going
Trump comes
to
in
Amy
clean, which I
Coney
think
Barrett.
might happen tonight, even worse.
All right.
If Trump clean
So
sweeps tonight.
at that.
we love you all, no matter what, whoever you vote for, if you don't for.
Yeah.
But
Good to
if this
catch up.
guy runs, definitely vote him in because he
Oh,
makes the most
sure.
sense. In fact, most of your adversaries or your so-called adversaries say that you would, if you just didn't expose them as much, you'd
Yeah,
be a
like
good
got
candidate.
along to get along. Yeah.
No, we should set up like special episodes too. We got like whatever holiday one coming up, something be like, yeah, get a
Oh.
couple people on a holiday.
I've only been asking Jordan for 6 years
I don't know,
to
yeah.
come in every week, so we finally got him in. Let's hope
We'll
for
do
the
a
next one.
Hanukkah reunion show.
There you go.
As soon as he comes in, he's got my lawyer calling about the mean moment, all this shit too. Like
All right. We'll
Nice
see you
catching up
guys
with
later.
everybody.
Take care.
Thanks.